If you pursued your spouse as hard as you grew your business, where would your marriage be right now?
No more sleeping on the couch.
No more sleeping on the couch
You
for
guys
you,
got
sir.
this. Sometimes people need to hear things in a language they're used to
Yeah.
that they can understand. And even hearing things phrased maybe differently might unlock something in you that's like, you know what, that would really help. And so we're just here to speak your language today.
Customer service mindset. We go out of the way, like
You wine and
you're
dine
wine and
'em.
dine. You're taking
Yep.
them golfing. You're taking them to the restaurants, doing whatever you can to win their business. But when we come home,
We're tired.
tired, the day's long,
Yep.
10, 12, 13-hour days, try to land that job.
And we forget
Yeah.
that there's a spouse there who has also had a long day.
Right. That's what's awesome about some business owners is like just their tenacity and just like their will to get something done,
Yeah.
which is incredible, right? But on the flip side, what are you ignoring at home
Yeah.
to get there?
You cannot be killing it in business and failing at home and sustain that for very long. Something's going to give.
If you run a 6, 7, or even 8-figure business, then it's safe to say that you have systems in your business to get you to where you're at today. Now, what if you use those same systems in your marriage? Where would your marriage be at right now, currently, today? Well, today we are going to break down some of the top systems in business that you can implement in your marriage starting today. I'm Ben, and I'm with my beautiful wife, Kristen, as always, and we are excited about this one.
We are. This is a funny one to think about because it can sound very transactional, like I'm going to operate my business like I operate my marriage, and it seems like it takes the love out of it. But it's
Mhm.
just sometimes people need to hear things in a language they're used to
Yeah.
that they can understand. And even hearing things phrased maybe differently might unlock something in you that's like, you know what, that would really help. And so we're just here to speak your language today. But remember, your marriage is built on love and trust and mutual respect. And don't treat your spouse like a coworker or like an employee. That's worse.
That's really worse.
But these are just some fun ways to kind of frame some things that you could implement in your marriage that will help it grow and thrive, just like your business does.
That's right. So, number one,
Number one is role clarity and delegation. I would imagine your business has a flow chart, does it not? People have business cards, they have titles, they have positions. And with those things, it is clear who's doing what. So we're not stepping on each other's toes. We're not letting things go undone and wondering who was supposed to do that and who do we go talk to about it, right? So the same thing can happen in marriage
Mhm.
with simple everyday tasks that will just make things run more smoothly at home. So I even think for us, it's doing the dishes. Who does the dishes? Who takes out the trash? Who does the bath time with the kids when they're little? Who does, just all those kinds of things. So agreeing upon those things help to squash a lot of fights because you're not expecting someone else to do something that they're expecting you to do. And for us, one of my favorites is you became the official dog poop picker upper. And I don't know how you
Mm.
got this role, but I'm thrilled about it.
Because, like, technically, like, the dogs are yours, right?
I know, but there's just something about that specific job that I feel like is like a man's. I
Mm.
don't know. Women can sound off in the comments if you agree with me. But I'm just so grateful that you've taken that on. So you don't get frustrated at me though, or like, right?
No.
You have a good attitude
Yeah.
when you go do it. See, and then I know when the dishes start piling up in the sink, like that's my job. And so there's just those things. I think for so long we can butt heads about things because we expect the other person to do it. And a lot of that comes from maybe how we were raised and the model that we saw with our family and our parents and the roles that were divided in the home when we grew up.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
that right there is the number one. Is when two become one and we come into the same household, we're both raised a certain way, seeing our parents do it the way that we've seen it for 18 years
yeah.
and still continue. Like the parents are still doing the same thing, right? And so it's that, like, for instance, when we first got married, like my mom made dinner every night. Well, that's
I
how,
remember my dad cooking a lot.
exactly. So then we sat at
Night one and our
night
tummies
one,
are
like,
growling.
wait, why
Who's
aren't you
making
making
dinner?
dinner? Like, what are you doing? Just sitting here right now.
Yeah.
And you were looking at me saying the same thing.
Hmm.
So having that clear a role, and it's not that I can't help you do the dishes.
Yeah.
It's not that like you can't ever do the poop,
I
which,
can't ever.
well, I
It
mean,
is
maybe
like
that was
that.
a bad example, but like I can't ever do the dishes, or where you pick up the kids from sports, or are supposed to make the bed, or it's like, because we can help each other. That's the whole point of like being married.
Our
We're
team.
on a team. We're
Mm,
doing the same thing. We're going to on the same direction.
yeah.
So, but when it's like during the week and we're busy and we're running businesses and we're doing our thing, and it's just like, oh, dishes, boom, and you just automatically do them, versus like I have my little poop schedule, or if you will, or washing the car, or just
See,
that.
you thrive in that role. It's great.
Well, until I can get one of the kids to start doing it.
It's good. That's coming.
But
But
so,
it'll just prevent a lot of fights, a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstandings. Just sit down, even if you don't have these clear roles, just sit down one night and say, hey, what would you like to do and what can I do? And there's certain tasks that like gross me out that you don't have a problem with, and vice versa.
right,
So I think that's a good,
because
it
if you
just,
look at it like your business
mhm.
and how your business is being ran, if nobody had clear role of what they were doing, this that's not going to be
Inefficient, not
very inefficient,
productive, toxic culture.
right?
Yeah.
So to
Make it
get,
clear.
to that, being that successful night, having a great night at home, just knowing your roles and responsibilities, like the general roles and responsibilities, is a huge lesson that we had to learn and figure out.
Yeah. Just sit down and talk about
Yeah,
it. It's easy.
so conversations. Okay, number 2, customer service mindset. We can also say serving your spouse mindset.
Yes, that's what that would look like at home.
So as you're growing a very successful business, obviously customers play a huge role. Because
Big
if you don't have good customers, or you don't have all
happy
the customers
customers.
are upset with you, you're not growing a very healthy business. So what do? We go out of the way every way we can to get customers to leave that good review, or just be the repeat customer. Well, you have to go above and beyond most of the time to get that repeat business, or that customer to leave that 5-star review, or to refer all their friends to come to your business. So we put all this energy, all this effort, we do little branded little gifts to give to them after the job's done, and all this little, we know them so well. If you're like in the home service industry, like you get to know that family so well, sometimes even more than your family, because you spend so much time with them. Or if you're trying to sell a product to a company, like you know that company, like
You wine and
you're
dine
wine and
them.
dine, you're taking
Yep.
them golfing, you're taking them to the restaurants, doing whatever you can to win their business. And this we put all this energy and effort into that, but when we come home
We're tired.
tired, the day's long,
Yep.
10, 12, 13-hour days, try to land that job, try to get that customer happy. So
And we forget
yeah,
that there's a spouse there who has also had a long day
right,
doing whatever they do, no matter what your roles are and whether there's kids or what your day looks like. And so I love that, kind of back to what you said in the first one, that it's not just about our individual roles, but how can we serve one another? How can we help one another? And even anticipating needs ahead of time, I think, as we do with customers, if there's going to be a hiccup down the road that you see, maybe a timeline's not going to work out like they wanted, or you're almost anticipating their disappointment and
mm,
looking for ways to offset that.
hmm,
Think about the same thing with your spouse. If you know that they have a hard day coming up, or a big long schedule, or um, a family member has a health crisis and they're stressed or worried about something, look for ways that you can be just an extra blessing to them. Put a smile on their face, take a load off their back that day. Maybe you pick up dinner on the way home instead of making her figure something out, or you bring home flowers or a balloon or her favorite candy bar, or just
right,
those little touches that will make them feel loved and seen and valued and help take the load off of them. That goes a long way in marriage because you're a team.
that's right.
We're here to serve
Yeah,
one
it's
another.
interesting too when you say that, because if you've been in business for more than a couple years, like you can anticipate when a customer might be a little upset, or going to be, or that's going to set them off, because you kind of like learn like character traits of like people and how they respond to certain things, and you can kind of see it coming. So you do whatever you can to make it right, and make it good.
Yeah.
Well, but we kind of skip that at home. And and the thing is like we know what's gonna happen at home. Like we know when our spouse is gonna have a bad day, or just even the like I'm gonna say tone in the text, if you will,
Yeah.
because you can
Punctuation's a big
yeah,
deal.
like you can like feel the tone in their text,
Throw an emoji in there. A
like
smiley face
whoa,
goes
like
a long way.
this may be she might be or he might be like whoa, we might So then to think customer service, think like what can I do to make her happy?
Mhm.
What can I do to make her day like flip that thing around? And same, this like, and your spouse. Well, hopefully you do, and the things that will make him smile and make him happy, and it's just kind of like that, and it's not
Yeah.
like it's not an everyday thing. So when you do it, it's like special and it makes them feel seen.
Mhm. And not sacrificing the marriage for the business, because to that same point, if you're working a long day, or maybe you've been out of town all week, or you can sense something that might normally lead to a fight, because ultimately they feel left out or forgotten or invisible because you've been working so much, to do something extra special to go above and beyond in that. And maybe you take the next day off, or you schedule an extra special, take them out to brunch and go into the office late that day.
It's a
Or
beautiful thing about owning your own business.
yeah, the freedom. Do change your schedule around so that they feel special and important. I think that goes such a long way for
Yeah.
a spouse that's used to like a workaholic husband or wife. That can go both ways.
Mm.
But to actually, if you intentionally rearrange your schedule and show them, don't just tell them they matter, don't just tell them you love them, but show them, whether that's a gift or quality time or going out to do something special, that goes a really long way.
Yeah, I think quality time, especially you're growing and you got money and it's like, man, like you buy another Tiffany's necklace or a bracelet. It's like, oh, cool. It's just like trying to patch something that's like not meant to be patched. It needs to be like fully kind of like rebuilt and like repaired
Yeah,
that
money
way.
can't fix everything.
Right.
It's your time,
So
it's your
that time,
heart.
that quality time to like, you took the day off with me, or like we're going to the beach today. Like, yeah, let's roll.
Yeah,
That goes a long ways. And I
mm,
know like you always like smile that way.
yeah,
Like you'd rather see me than get a necklace. I mean,
yeah.
you like the necklace too,
I'll take the
but
necklace on the way
it's
to go
also
to the
nice to have
yeah.
me.
Well, because talk can be cheap, and depending on the history and the track record you have in your marriage, you can say a lot of things, but only you know if you're actually delivering on it. And so if your spouse doesn't trust that you're going to follow through, or they've been disappointed and let down a lot, then going the extra mile and doing something like that speaks so highly. So
Yeah,
makes a big difference.
make him smile. Just like you
Yeah.
make a customer smile, make your spouse smile.
Most
Smile,
important person in the whole world to you.
spouse.
Make your spouse smile.
Yeah, we should make a T-shirt. Okay, number 3, vision and goal setting. This is one of our favorite
We
ones
love this one.
because we are big goal setters, big dreamers, and in business we have huge goals, huge dreams.
Yeah.
Where you have to rein me in sometimes, and sometimes I gotta like, no, you're coming with me. We're going on this goal. Like we're gonna do this thing.
Yeah. But in a
Um,
business, it's
yeah.
so you set high revenue goals. Otherwise, where are you guys aiming? How do you know when you got there? How do you congratulate the team? How do you function without having goals and trying to always be better than last year, right? I think every job I've ever had, we look at last year's numbers. And so you're always trying to be better and grow. And you should be doing the same thing in your marriage. So you have vision and you're working towards something together. And so shared goals might be if you're trying to get out of debt,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're trying to stick to a budget, or if you're trying to have date nights, like regular date nights. That's a big one, to be consistent about it, whether it's once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever works within your family rhythm and your time schedule. Just setting, or maybe you're going after saving money for a vacation,
Buying
um,
another house.
buying a house. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you're working towards something together as a couple and also as a family. Get your kids involved if you have kids too. So it's like a shared vision that everyone has that you're working towards.
I
It
know of
unites you.
a vision and goal that I have is for you to play 18 holes with me. Like and like
18.
love and then like joy to do
A
it.
lot of holes. I think nine's a really solid
I mean 18, you just
round
because
of
this
golf.
9 you're just kind of getting warmed up,
Oh, nine's like
so
my fingers start to hurt and I'm
I
ready
know
for
that's why
a
it's a
lunch.
goal and we're setting a vision
Oh,
and
okay.
goal. So yeah,
Okay.
doesn't mean you have to have it
One of
happen
these
tomorrow.
days.
Like it's a goal.
Okay.
Goal is like you to enjoy 18 holes.
And
Just
enjoy it. Not just do it, but
yeah,
enjoy it.
to enjoy it. It's out
Okay.
there. And you're like, now I need to get a new set of clubs. That would be like the day that I know that we've accomplished that goal.
That we made it.
Yeah.
We will report back when that happens.
It might be a bit, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So setting goals, big dreams, and then in your marriage. So like obviously we do that in business, but like in marriage, like I think sometimes we get into that where life just kind of we just like are on a ship and we just kind of are sailing and we
Autopilot.
forget to set goals, or maybe we've accomplished them and we never like celebrated it or even brought it back up, or we forgot about it. So I think writing it down, making it clear,
Yeah.
either like maybe in your guys' like master bathroom or like closet, depending on how big and where it's at, or I would say at your home would be better than like your office. You know what I mean? Just so that you could where you wake up and you can see it, like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna give $1 million this year. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna buy that another house in Sun River. We're gonna, where whatever the goals are, and then like just have it there. So like when you guys wake up in the morning, then it's like then we see that like, yeah, and then it's accomplishing it together.
Hmm.
And where this is like the goal that we're set for our marriage.
Yeah. Well, it's like it unites your hearts together when you're going after something together. If you think of like a sports team, like the bonding that team, that all those players have together because they unite and they're working really hard to accomplish some goal together. And then why do they freak out so much at the touchdown or the big win at the end? Like they all jump on top of each other and all the Gatorade, whatever. Like that's just what I'm picturing. Like because there's so much excitement that they accomplish that thing together,
Yeah, they've
and
been
how much
working
that
so
bonds
hard.
them for life, teammates for life.
Yeah.
And so how much more so husband and wife. We're in this together. We're in this for life together, and
Yeah.
so chasing something together.
Right. So big, and make sure before we go to the next one,
Hmm.
it's a big vision, big goals. Like be it to where it's like where you can't really like think how you would accomplish that right now. Like because that's different for everybody.
Hmm.
You could have a few million in your account. You can have like a few thousand, few 100,000. You can wherever you're at. So like it could look different, and but so set that goal big and high so that you're like, okay, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but when we do it,
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So to be able to check it off the list
Like
that
trying
way.
to win the Super Bowl.
Look at
Like as
you,
a
like a
team.
sport
I'm trying
analogy.
to speak
Just
your language.
wow.
I know.
Mm,
We're speaking to the whole audience
just
today.
everybody.
Anyone who might be listening.
Okay,
Yeah.
just win the Super Bowl
Win the Super Bowl together.
together. Okay, number 4, we have fixing broken systems and also giving feedback.
Mm. This is one that people like to avoid because people don't like confrontation.
In business and in marriage.
Yeah. And so think in business how if you have a toxic team member and you don't deal with it, what's going to happen to the culture of your whole staff? And even I think of like an assembly line. And if you have all these little parts in the process and one thing is broken and it's jacking up that product and they're all getting messed up, that's going to cost you money, time, all, like customer satisfaction. I mean, like think of the ripple effect of destruction that comes from that. And so what are you going to like that jumped to the top of the list now. There's urgency to fix that thing so that we can fix this broken pattern and it doesn't destroy everything. And the same thing happens at home.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes destructive behaviors and patterns that are going on at home. And there's resentment building in either one or both of you. And if it's not addressed, it's just going to keep going and going until it gets bigger and bigger and it gets very destructive. And so catching those things when they're small, one of the things that we've had to learn early on was that intimacy comes through conflict. Conflict actually brings intimacy. And so when we, instead of avoiding hard conversations, not that it's fun and not that we look forward to it, but I'm always grateful once it's over that I feel closer to you. We understand each other better.
Right.
We have more compassion for each other and we've fixed something together. And so now things are going to be better moving forward, whether it's like you mentioned tone, maybe there's a communication issue that's going on or someone keeps forgetting something or someone's not holding up their end of the deal that we made or whatever the issue is. If we don't address it and we just sweep it under the rug, those things build. That's when we start to get this huge laundry list of flaws in our spouse. And then all we're doing is keeping track of all the things they're doing wrong. And that leads to resentment, that leads to bitterness, and that leads to hard hearts and like
Mhm.
shutting off the love that you once had. And so when we think of like marriages that end, it's usually not just one random huge blow up. It's a series of little things that were never addressed,
Yeah.
a series of little things that were never brought up or spoken of. And so make it a regular practice to have those hard conversations.
Yeah. Especially when you're so busy at work and
Mhm.
growing a business, starting another location, starting another business,
Yeah.
growing this thing to, 7, 8 figures. Like we're, trying to get it to a goal to where we can sell or whatever it is. Like that can consume your whole being of what your goal is. Like that's what's awesome about some business owners is like just their tenacity and just like their will to get something done,
Yeah.
which is incredible, right? But on the flip side, are you just what are you ignoring at home
Yeah.
to get there?
What are
And
you
that's like the
leaving?
sad part too. It's like because sometimes you can look at a person and you're like, dude, you are killing it. Like you're amazing. Like you kind of like want to you kind of envy them or like kind of look up to them or whatever. Um, but then you see like they got divorced or they had an affair or something happened and
Yeah.
just like, well, wait, what? Like they're killing it and like it's just because of they put so much focus in on that goal, at work that they were ignoring conflict at home. And it starts so little at first.
Yeah.
It's just the little things that start and then it leads to something big because it keeps getting ignored. So
Mhm.
it's a really uncomfortable one
Yeah.
at first. And then I guess it never really is comfortable, right?
But I think we've gotten so much stronger and it's so much easier now. Like I can look back now at little things I bring up that because they're little now,
Well, now
because
you know
we've,
to bring them up.
yeah, because we've worked through so many hard things that I'm like, this is a no brainer. And because I know you, I know how to bring it up. I know how to say it. I know how not to say it. I know when not to say it.
Hmm.
I know the tone I should use. So it's just like, it is that whole don't do it in the heat of emotion. Don't do it in the middle of a fight. Don't do it in front of your children. Like don't do it when you're in the car rushing to something. So, like, the tact that is required to set up the atmosphere and maybe even say, like, hey, do you have a few minutes later? Can we talk about something? And I know that's like the dreaded that might be like the dreaded, we need to talk. I don't mean don't do that. But just like make sure that they're prepared for it, that you're not catching them off guard. They lay down to go to bed
And you want
and
to
you
have
sit
this
next to
life
them and
talk.
bring up this huge thing. Yeah, like make sure it's a time that they're ready for it so that you're all just everything's situated and calm. And then when you bring it up in a gentle way, not accusing, just like, hey, I just wanted to let you know there's something that's been kind of bothering me lately. It's been hurting my feelings, or, like making it about how you feel, not what they're doing
Yeah.
wrong. And so it's not attacking, then they don't need to get defensive. And and then if you're the person that someone's bringing it up to you, like if you're the listener, watch your tone, be quick to listen and slow to speak, the Bible tells us to do. So listen to their whole point. Don't just be so quick waiting to cut them off and respond with your justification or your reason or how they're so messed up. But listen to actually understand what they're saying because that's what brings resolution. Otherwise, you're just going to blow, that fight will blow right up. And you
Yeah.
know it because you've experienced that.
Hmm.
And so if it always gets into a yelling match, we don't name call, no cussing at each other. Like, remember, you love this person, respect and honor them, and you're allowed to bring this up. It's like a customer service counter,
Hmm.
in your relationship. Like, hey, I'm having an issue here. Let's work through this together. And so, looking for that mutual resolution that everyone's going to be happy with. And if you need to pull tactics from like your HR department in order to do it, then do it. Just like it's so much about your communication, I think. And then
Yeah.
just both people remembering at the heart of this, we love each other. We're on the same team and this is something that's hurting our marriage, not helping our marriage, and so let's work through this together. And just keeping that perspective, we're a team, we love each other. I want what's best for you, you want what's best for me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this because I'm trying to tear you down. I'm trying to fix this situation. So
Hmm.
just
And then after those first few tough ones, then now it's easier
Yeah.
And then it's just quicker to like, well, yeah, what do you like? Cause when you want to bring something up, uh, and we just talk about this for a sec. Yeah, sure. What's up? And
Yeah.
then you say it, then that's like, oh yeah, okay. And then we just fix it and we move
Yeah.
on. Because if we get it while it's little seed form versus something that's like starting to grow and get all like weird and awkward and it's just like an elephant in the room that you're not speaking of.
Yeah.
It just keeps growing, growing and growing and getting more awkward.
And
So
choose to believe the best in your spouse. Like, even if they did cut you off, interrupted you, said something rude, had a rude tone, forgot to do this thing, they probably didn't do it because they hate you. They probably just forgot. They probably just didn't notice. They're probably just really stressed or tired or hungry. Like, choose to believe the best and forgive in advance. And then, yes, bring it up because it bothered you and it's
mhm.
something that maybe that needs to be addressed so it doesn't keep happening. But don't jump to like accusing them and that kind of thing. Like, we're on
You
the same
always do
team.
this.
Yeah, don't do that. Not healthy. Mm-mm. But bring it up. You're allowed to give feedback to one another.
That's right. The feedback is always good. And then that's the thing too, because as the person receiving, like you should want to be better as well too.
Hmm.
So that feedback is going to help you in the end. It's going to
Yeah.
help you in your marriage, it's going to help you in your business. It's going to help you like all around. So we should always like welcome that feedback too.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, like when you guys are working things out, you're it's in the response of like being better for each other.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm always gonna bring this. She's like she always brings this up because she's trying to cut me down. Well, if that's how you feel, then that should be the feedback that you give too. Like that should be like you're always trying to bring me down and say, well, let's talk about that for a second. You know what I mean? So it's like it's that too. It's like I feel like the person always giving the feedback should also be able to then receive some feedback
Yeah.
too. Because I know when we first started, and I would give you a little feedback. You're like, what? I'm like, girl, yes.
Well, because we have blind spots.
Right,
I think that's like, that goes back to believing the best is I remember when you brought something up and it was the way that I talked to you in front of other people.
right.
And I grew up, going back to family and
Yeah.
how we're raised, like I grew up in a very like sarcastic family
Mm-hmm.
and we would kind of poke at each other and that was funny and we'd get the laugh. And I also grew up very like self-deprecating because probably in response to that and just childhood friends, I remember of like, I'll pick on myself so that you don't pick on me
Mm-hmm.
because then I have the power, if I make fun of myself first, then you don't have the power to do that to me. And so like all these things working together for bad. And then I didn't realize like that's just how I talked because I was trying to get a laugh out of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that would show itself in me cutting you down in front of people, making a sarcastic comment. And I didn't see it. I didn't know it. And I remember once you told me, like, it crushed me because that's the last thing in the world I would ever want you to
Right.
think. And it's so not how I felt. It didn't reflect my heart. And yet I totally saw your perception. Like I totally saw how that was what that was causing. And it took intentionality from then on to like stop doing that. But I was so glad you said it. Like, I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. Like, I'm so glad you brought that to my attention to make me better. And if I was doing it to you, who else in my life am I doing that to you?
Right.
And so receiving those things, like our spouse is meant to sharpen us. And I think that's why there can be so much
Just a mirror.
friction. Yeah, that's why there can be so much friction is like we look at each other and we like see our own reflection, right? Like
Mm,
he shows me my flaws. And so sometimes that's painful and I don't want to see it.
right.
And yet that's one of the ways that like God is using you to make me better.
Yeah.
And when I choose to embrace that, it's hard and painful. Friction and sharpening iron isn't a smooth, comfortable process, but it always results in me being better. So I should welcome it. And the Bible says only, what did he say? It's stupid to hate correction.
It is.
Tense language. But we'll just leave that one at that.
We will move on now.
We'll move on.
Okay. This next one, number 5, is board meetings.
I'm sure you have board meetings
I mean,
regularly,
regularly
every Monday
quarterly,
morning.
Mondays,
Yeah. First of the
monthly.
month.
Everybody's got board meetings.
Yep. When do you have meetings in your home?
Marriage meetings
Hmm.
was the thing we started implementing. We do it once a week. for sure.
Yeah.
Ours is on Sunday night or Sunday night. Um, and it's just like a check-in for the week, that week, maybe a couple weeks in.
Yeah.
And everybody's rhythm is a little bit different because everybody's life is chaotic in different ways.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need maybe a daily one just to kind of see it, depending on what you guys are doing. But
Yeah.
for sure, like a weekly, bi-weekly, just kind of check in. Um, like you are the planner.
Yes.
You love that calendar.
Love it.
My calendar is all locked in the vault.
I don't know how you do that.
But I proved it
You and
right.
me
But I proved it that one time with
with
those
that
estimates and
estimate.
stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're gonna write that down as
That's a funny story. I overheard him in our home office and he was on the phone booking an estimate with a customer and he's like, okay, Wednesday at 1. And it was what, like Saturday? It
yeah,
was far away.
yeah.
And I looked at you and I think we were like getting up right away to go do something. I'm like, don't you want to write that down? And you're like, nope, I got it. I'm like, what do you mean you got it? What does that mean? And so I got on my phone and I made a note of it.
Yeah,
And
I was
then come
out. Yeah,
Wednesday,
and I was out doing. Are you at Bill's?
okay, I go,
Whatever. I
did you
said,
remember?
I took a. Yeah, currently here now.
Like, how did you just do that
Yeah,
without a calendar? That's crazy. But it's not a gift I have. So I use this calendar. It saves me every
great.
day. But yeah, we have like the shared, and I'll use the shared family one. So only the essential things, since he doesn't use his calendar, show up on our whole family phone calendar. But yeah, just a weekly check-in Sunday night, and it's casual. Like meeting sounds so formal, but it's not. It's like we'll do it after dinner. We're hanging out on the couch. We involve the kids because they're little planners too.
Mhm.
And it's just like, this is what I have going on this week. What do you have going on this week? Where's the night where we might need help with each other? Or I'm going to be making dinner this week. When are you going to be home? When are you not going to be home? You know, we have church functions that are kind of different every week. And so what meals am I including you? What meals am I not? When do we need to eat out because we need to go film? Like, it's just a good touch point to figure out, to look ahead so we can prevent any conflicts that might happen from us scheduling different things.
Right.
So we
I
can just
always
kind of look
like
out
it
for each other.
when you don't write something down in your calendar that I told you, and you were like distracted or something, and then like when then thing comes up like the next day, you're like, wait, what are you doing? You act like the world is ending. I'm like, girl, I already
It's
told
not
you.
written down. It didn't
I
exist.
already told you though.
I
So
know.
it is a good rhythm and a good habit just to be on the same page, and like because we're all doing this together, you know.
Yeah.
And then going back to like some of the like that first point of like delegation, it's like if you knew that I was gonna be out of town all week
Then
because
I'm
I'm
on
at the other
garbage can
location, that means you're
duty.
doing the garbage cans and have to do maybe a little bit of poop scooping.
No,
No, she doesn't. She
I
leaves that. But
actually
like in
don't.
theory, that would work out really good.
In theory.
But she doesn't do that.
Yeah. I do the dishes like a
We're
boss,
still
though.
praying. We're still praying that one through.
It's okay.
And one of these days, like the
One of
Lord
these
will like
days.
come through and intercede, and
Sure
the
of it.
Lord's still working and moving. Um, so, but having the meetings, you just have to find the rhythm for you and your spouse.
And even 2 weeks out might be good because, like, there's time when we have like a big church conference, we serve at our church. So sometimes there's like a 3-day event, 4-day event. And so if you know you're not going to get time together, like, then book a date night early because you need to be having your date nights. So kind of just like prepping in advance, maybe even look at your month at a glance. We're going to be going out of town for this week. So what do I need to get done earlier? You know, for us, like filming more episodes because we're going to be gone for a week. Like, just whatever that looks like to help your family so you're not scrambling, you don't miss things don't go undone or unattended to,
hmm
and just cover
And
cover
that's
each other.
I mean, I like how you said that too, because then like those are those resentment things that you're avoiding because they're not popping up
Yeah.
because like you never plan, or you're always, because it's like no, we're just like we're countering that because we
Yeah.
in board meetings we're looking at things that are happening, we're trying to fix things, so it's just that same thing,
Yeah.
so we're avoiding disaster.
And how much stress when you're scrambling last minute because you
And that's
forgot we're
where
going
those
out of
little
town.
friction fights come
Yeah.
from.
Now we have 8 loads of laundry because we have to pack everyone's clothes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we knew this ahead of time. We're ready.
So the next one is celebrate wins.
Celebrate wins. I like this.
So, and this is a cool thing that the most successful businesses do. When someone like kills it in sales, they meet that production goal, they're celebrating it.
You get a
And
bonus.
the bonus, like the parties,
The whole office gets donuts,
Donuts,
pizza day.
Chick-fil-A, whatever. I mean, whatever, however, I mean, there's millions of ways that people celebrate wins. And then in different levels of wins too. And this is it's a big cool practice. And you see like on Instagram, you'll see it, or people do some awesome things.
Mhm.
And you're like, and it makes you want to be a part of it too. Like, oh, do that. Yeah, look what they're doing. Even at church too, people, they celebrate wins and different things and what people, are doing and accomplishing. And
Yeah.
um,
So, like, when we set our goals, like, if your goal was to be debt free, then once you get debt free, like the Dave Ramsey, they do that big scream. Not that you should do that in your house, but like, what's something that you're going to celebrate as a family to do once you hit that goal? And so I even think like practically on a smaller scale. I remember my first workout program that I said I was going to do. It was a 30-day program. And when I did it at the end, I treated myself to a new pair of tennis shoes.
what a great treat.
It was great. And it was like motivation to keep going. And then it was like, I accomplished that. Awesome. And so it was kind of motivation to do the next thing. And it helps reinforce what you're working towards to be able to celebrate things like that. And kind of back to the whole teamwork, team atmosphere. It's something else to unify you guys and to be bonding over and just to see that you're being productive and you're accomplishing things as a team. So if it's business wins, even once the business hits a milestone, celebrate as a family, go out on a special dinner
Yeah,
night
go
or
to a nice
something.
dinner.
Yeah. If the kids accomplish something, like we homeschool. And so I've kind of told the kids there's certain goals that we have to learn different things. And once we finish this whole curriculum that we're on, then we'll go out and get frozen yogurt to celebrate. Or once we finish this project we're doing. So I just think it's always cool. Not that it should always be food, but maybe we get to go to the beach for the day or just go do something fun as a family, and it just brings you guys together even more.
Yeah, and doesn't always have to be big either. I think that's another thing too. It could just be a small win, like a small celebration.
Hmm.
You don't always have to go to like the 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, little things.
Little things.
But even I think with like parenting the kids, when they do an act of kindness, like if they're generous, if they do go out of their way to do something, like our kids have been clearing the table recently at dinner, which is the coolest thing because they didn't used to help with that and now they do. And so to celebrate and praise them for that, like that rewarding good behavior, you're going to get more good behavior.
Right.
And so it's like a momentum thing. It just keeps you going in the right direction. We're productive and we're accomplishing big things as a family.
All right. Our last one for now, because there's always things that we're changing and doing right. But number 7 is annual company retreats. Now, a great company is going on these annual retreats.
Yes.
We do it. We had to go to Sun River,
Hmm.
which is one of our favorite places to go. It's like up in the mountains. It's our resort vibe,
Central Oregon.
Central Oregon. Um, so if you do it in your company, then why aren't you doing it in your marriage? A little
A
marriage
marriage
retreat.
retreat. We love these. We are very big proponents of the marriage retreat because for years we never did anything. And it wasn't until things were very, very bad and we were in the desperate place that we were like, let's get away. And we actually left. We went to Texas and went to a marriage conference and it changed everything. And it was really at that event that we learned the importance of investing in your marriage. And so nothing ever grows healthy if you don't invest in it,
Uh-oh.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so
You're quoting my quote.
if we wonder why the grass looks greener somewhere else, it's time to water our own yard.
Oh,
So if you're ever getting a little fidgety or restless or disgruntled in your marriage situation, when was the last time you watered your own grass and
mm,
invested in your marriage? And so getting out and also in like a company retreat, right? You look over the last year. What did we do well? Where did we hit our targets? What goals did we hit? And then cast vision for the next year. And you should do the same thing in your marriage. What went well last year? We killed it on date nights. We made almost every single one. What can
yeah.
we do next year? And so maybe it's doing more things together as a family, or maybe we want to spend less time at work and more time here. We want to start prioritizing going to church on Sundays and taking that day off work. Whatever that goal is for your family, I think the importance of the two of you getting away together, kid free,
Yes,
is best.
that is the number one
Kid free.
disclaimer there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's fun. Obviously, we need family
You should
vacations.
do those too,
We
but it's
should. It's
different.
different. This is a separate. It's like we're looking this as the heads of the household
Yeah.
going in there for that year, either that year in reflection or the year coming up,
Hmm.
because mom and dad need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
So having that retreat, that time together, because even if it's been like a crazy year, like busy, and then maybe you need like that time just to like decompress from like life,
Yeah.
just to like, because maybe you're not going to have that intimate conversation yet, like after the first day. Maybe you needs like the first day is just like decompressing and we're just kind of chilling wherever we're at, on the beach or up in the cabin or, wherever it is that you would want to go. And then like that next day, it's like, okay, like that coffee, you're doing your coffee, doing your tea, you're doing your, what people do now,
Morning walk on the beach.
morning walk on the beach.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, now you're starting to get into that right mindset. And it's hard to get into that right mindset when you have your kids there running around, screaming, demanding stuff from you. Um,
Even if they're sweet, respectful children,
yeah,
there's
it's
just something
still,
about being in mom mode, being in dad mode. You're managing other people's situation. You can't just
and
chill.
you can't deflect to the kids because it's just you two.
It's
Because
true.
sometimes you like
No
to like,
distraction.
oh, I'll take him, and and you wanted to avoid something, but now it's just you two, no avoiding. Now
Mhm.
you have to address maybe something needs to be addressed
Yeah.
so that like you can accomplish that goal and just like get back to you two.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of like why we push date night so much because at the end, once the kids grow up and they're out of the house, if you forgot to ever connect with each other, what do you have once they leave? Your whole life's been wrapped up in the kids, what the kids are doing, wrapped up in the business, how the business is doing. And then what do you talk about when it's just the two of you in
Hmm.
an empty house? And so don't lose that friendship. And there's something about when you get away with that intentional time, the bonding that can come from those times and you kind of rekindle, respark the romance, the love. You remember what it was like when it was just the two of you back in the beginning of your relationship. I remember I love like looking back on moments when we sit there and we're like, hey, remember this? Hey, remember this day? Remember when we did that? And I love that getting to look back at where we started, how far we've come, like all the cool things that God has had along our journey and things that we've learned, areas we've grown in, and just kind of seeing how far we've come is so cool and brings us even closer together. And that's what helps unite our vision to then we come back full and ready to serve in all the other areas we need to with our parenting, with our business, like we are filled up in a
Hmm.
different way. There's rest and refreshing and relaxing. And then we come back together and we're stronger and able to show up in those other areas better. So I know for some people, especially if your kids are young, there's guilt, like you feel bad or you have to invest money, childcare, depending on if you have family that can watch them or you need someone to come stay, house sit or something. Like it takes money, it takes an
Hmm.
investment, it takes time, it takes rescheduling meetings, blocking off your calendar, but it's always worth it when you make that investment in your marriage because if you two don't make it, nothing else will stay. Everything else crumbles. So you two are the foundation of your family. You're the foundation of that business you started together. Like if your marriage crumbles, nothing else is going to do well. And so no matter how much you're killing it in business, if your marriage is falling apart, your business will not last long.
Yeah.
So you cannot be killing it in business and failing at home and sustain that for very long. Something's going to give. And it shouldn't get to that.
Right. And this, so being intentional with these annual little retreats, uh, I think it's I think one of the funnest times I like to look forward to, because like we've implemented the date nights, doing the date nights as much as we can, and obviously we want to get better at that too. Being like even like just nailing a year where it's just like every single week
Don't miss
we
one.
don't miss one. But I think the annual retreat is something that like I look forward to, just because it's like as we start doing all the other steps and like you've connected and you're dealing with all the unspoken things and the hurt things, and you're setting the goals and you're connecting and you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, so that then when these retreats come, it's actually like a really great time and it is really refreshing.
Yeah.
And then and then you grow stronger together, like kind of like grow just like tight knit.
Yeah.
So then, and as we get older too, it's just like it's like a more deeper, rich love that I have for you. Versus like in the beginning, when we're still figuring everything out and
Working through the
working through all
issues
the
and
issues and stuff so we can get
yeah.
to that place kind of where we are now. And as we continue to get older and grow older together, it's just like a more like rich time together. And so then when we leave, it's just like we just are on like kind of going to like a next level of
Yeah,
like our connection and our love.
carries you. And don't always go to the same place. Mix it up and do fun stuff. Do stuff where you're going to laugh. I mean, that's the whole reason I ever played golf in the first place. Was like me learning one of your hobbies, you learning my hobbies, going and trying new things together. Go to an art museum, go do clay pottery, go do like first of all, you don't know what you like to do until you try a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But then there's something about trying something new together and like the laughter, and you're both on the same page. If you're a beginner about something, you don't know what you're doing. And there's just like the bonding that comes in that too. Like there's nothing like laughing with your spouse. Like keep your friendship because your friendship is the foundation of all of it. Right. So it's
Hmm.
like when you stop being friends, that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keep
So
doing
yeah,
things.
doing the fun things.
Hmm.
And like, and then if you're changing up where you're going, then like you're doing the research and what's in this city or what's in this
Yeah.
location that we can do and try together.
Yeah.
Because it is like if you're growing together, like and building this like this really deep bond and like our best friends and love each other, then like it is fun to try new things. Like, and that's the whole point. Like, and doesn't like is it your preference to do that? Well, maybe not, but like it
Mhm.
doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, at all, as
Yeah.
it's just, like, the memories and that connection of that time that you did that, and then maybe you did s find something that you started liking.
Hmm.
Um,
One, like, how often do people get in a rut? Like they say they're in a rut, and the rut comes because you're doing the same thing over and over.
right.
So stop doing the same thing over and over. Stop going to that restaurant. Pick a new one. Find a new one. I know that can be hard. We don't have a ton of great restaurants where we live, but get on Yelp, get on Instagram, find your little foodie account for your city. Maybe you have to drive a ways to get there, but try something new. Don't just go to the movies where you're sitting there zoning out at a screen the whole time. Like do something where you're bonding together. Do an activity together. Discover, rediscover each other. Like we change in every season,
Mhm.
right? Like no matter, especially just life circumstances, whether you've had a baby recently or you just moved to a new city or family health situations, um, lost friendships, gained friendships, like whatever your life has looked, a lot can happen in 1 year. And so taking that year to rediscover who this person is this year, like who are you right now
Mhm.
still, and getting to know them and love them and rediscover that friendship.
Yeah, that's the fun part too.
Hmm.
When you don't, because you can't, it's, like, unfair to look at your spouse you like, you guys when you just first got married. It's like it's unhealthy too because like we have changed. You have changed
You
so much.
should.
Hopefully, you're not doing the
You've
same
grown.
thing, not wearing the same high school shirt from high school.
Yeah.
Like you've grown. You're learning. You're adapting. You're doing new things. You're a new person. So your spouse is the same way. They're a new person every day. Every year. Interests, likes, dislikes could change, and like that's like the fun part is like finding it out and like learning. Oh, you like this now, or you like to do this now, and it's like because like, and that's like for me with golf. For you, like one day she's gonna be out there going to the driving range without me. I'm like, where are you at? She's like, oh, I'm sitting here at the
I don't know
driving
how to get
range.
there.
So
We'll
that's
figure it out.
what's the fun part is just like exploring and like knowing like it's never gonna be the same. But then, like, as you're doing it together and growing together, like, that's where, like, the beauty of it all, it comes together.
Yeah. So ultimately, the same passion and energy that you put into your business, you should be either matching that or
I would say more so.
more so at home
So
with your
my
marriage.
passionate business owners out there, the ones that just grind and hustle and have built these empires, we're speaking to you
Yep.
that you should pursue if you pursued your spouse as hard as you grew your business and as hard as you're growing your business,
Where
w-
would it
where would your marriage be right now?
Yeah.
Your spouse is probably smacking you right in the head right now. Like, yeah, like if you would,
No more sleeping on the couch.
No more sleeping on the
You
couch for
guys
you,
got
sir.
this. You're welcome.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this conversation. Hey, maybe you were listening to this whole thing and you're at the end and you're like, I don't think we have any direction. I don't know where we should even start or where we should even begin. Guess what? We have a cool opportunity where you can book a discovery call with Kristen and I, and we can kind of talk some things, talk some game plans, and kind of set you guys on the right track so that you can have that successful marriage just like your business. So send us a DM and we will see you on that discovery call.